Well, at 20 minutes to 5, we can now say the decision taken in 1975 by this country to join the common market has been reversed by this referendum to leave the EU.
So if you were to list your 3 favourite things about the EU, Holly, what would they be?
They would be, well, definitely the NHS, got that.
Would you rather have the EU Commission or democracy? Not the EU, the Commission.
Good question. I don't know. Democracy? Yeah.
Okay. How come?
We will no longer have to pay to bail out Greece anymore. Won't that be good for the British economy?
No.
How?
It's all just rubbish. It's all based on lies.
So you don't think we're going to save any money by not bailing out the Mediterranean?
Absolutely not. It's going to cost us billions.
How?
Because it is, isn't it?
EU is that everyone is together, we're all united. That's what basically, like for me, it's just about everyone being united together and like having the same opinion.
MEPs can't amend our proposed legislation.
The MPs.
MEPs.
What's the MEP?
UKIP.
The UKIP? Well, Farage, for instance.
We're now a bunch of fascists. You don't understand. Would you like to sit down for half an hour and we will actually talk and try and educate you? Because you simply
I'm a law student.
I don't care what you are. You are an ignorant law student.
How
does
so?
not know what you're talking. How so? That is something to do with your personal upbringing and how much you attend to your classes.
Can I talk to you? I thought you wanted to get your message across, mate. You don't want to get your message across.
There it is. Look.
Pardon, mate? Sorry, I didn't hear that.
There it is. Look, it's on the platform.
Yeah, okay. So can I ask you a couple of questions about it?
Do you realise that the EU supports TTIP, which would have linked the EU with NAFTA and would have allowed American companies to sue the British government if wages were too high?
So yeah, what are you saying?
The third one will probably be, I welcome everyone into our country. People are coming here because it's a good country to live in, and in doing that we're going to be kicking people out, and I just don't think that's right.
Well, we came today because we're against leaving the EU.
Also,
How?
what do you mean, how does he lie through his teeth? He just opens his mouth and talks.
Has he said specifically that constitutes a lie?
Well, let me try and think. Do you know, I cannot remember a single thing that he's ever actually specifically said, so I can't answer.
Sorry, what?
I feel that hate won. I feel like I feel like racism is a bigger problem in my country than I thought it was. I feel like we're watching the stirrings of fascism in Europe again, and I genuinely never thought it would be my country.
We cried, like, when I heard, I just fell to the floor on my knees. I was like, oh my God. I felt dizzy. I think the whole country felt a bit nauseous.
But like, I've just seen like the amount of people who are just so disappointed. I mean, I have friends who are going to now have to move to Scotland because they can't afford to live here. Like, we're not going to be able to afford. So they got a phone call from their family today saying, "Well, we've got to move to Scotland. We've got to sell our house." Like, it's pretty bad, really.
I didn't think it would be us who would run to the right. I didn't think it would be us who turned our backs on the rest of the world, who wanted. I thought this would be America. I thought America was the people who were so filled with hate, not us.
Go and watch your economy fail. Go on, Mugabe's waiting for you. Go on, off you go. Go on, Robert Mugabe's waiting for you in his impoverished two-pot pisshole. You want to ruin the country? Go after Mugabe. Go on. He'd be happy to have you.
Shame on you! Shame on you! Shame on you! Why shame on you?
Fuck off.
I'm from Great Britain.
Are you?
Indeed. So
well, you stabbed us in the back, my friend.
So why
now go and fuck off.
I want more immigrants, not less. If the Brits don't like it, they can get out.
You'll never become Prime Minister. You will never become Prime Minister. You are arrogant, Boris. You are a hypocrite. You are a hypocrite. You are arrogant. Yeah. Why you want to fight with me? Can you not talk?
Come away.
You're an idiot. Hey! Hallelujah! Theresa May out. I'm going.
No.
You can't force me out.
Fuck you.
This is the opposition.
I'm so disappointed. I'm so hurt.
So if Remain would have won the first time, would you want another vote just to check?
If it was Remain, if Remain was the result, I mean, why change the status quo?
What if you lost the people's vote?
I would say.
I mean, you might. You might not.
So what do you say to the 17.4 million people who voted for Brexit and now you want to reverse it?
Well, I think if you believe in democracy, you certainly have to respect the referendum result, but you also have to respect the.
I don't think it is the end of the story, and we will change it. How? Because, well, I mean, why don't we have another referendum? If we've had one, why don't we have another one?
Now, if suddenly the new term was, but everyone's head gets chopped off.
No, of course
would that mean, but hang on, wait a minute, people voted for it. If people voted for it, why would you? Why are you changing the goalpost?
Hey, hey, hey!
I'm convinced.
That's a very convincing argument, sir.
Black shirts! Black shirts!
I'm really cross with the older people in my country who've done this. The majority of these people are over 75. They don't have a future in this country.
Because I think that we could make a Britain for the future which is a bit more culturally diverse and interesting. And I'm not an economist. I'm not an economist, and I just hear a lot of talk about money all the time, and I can't say like whether the economy is going to be better or worse in or out of Europe, and I'm not going to say, oh, if we remain it's going to be better, but I'm going to say I like being part of a bigger picture. I like the fact that the UK could remain part of this like big thing that is Europe, and I think that instead of making a great Britain, we could make a great Europe.
Reality check, my friend. Reality check. Britain is already multicultural. You know, it is multicultural, and has been for the best part of 70 years or more. Okay, it's already happened. Okay, that's different from having people coming from outside and undercutting our low-skilled workers. Okay.
This country is, believe it or not, quite a small little thing, right? But it's it's a lovely place. And it's part of a beautiful world.
They've seen what division and war can do to our country and the rest of Europe and the world as a whole. They should know better, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Go back to where black shirts belong!
Where do they belong, sir?
I don't know. Like in Atlantis, I think.
Right,
Are you from Atlantis?
Yes, and I'm saying you can leave the EU. You just have to have your head chopped off.
Excuse me, what are you talking about? This country has not protected their workers at all since the 80s. Not once. And it is only because of the Europe that we have any kind of protection. This is one of the only countries in the world where there's a 0 hours contract.
The guy who proposed that.
Sorry, why is that any different? It's a term and condition.
Proposed that.
You have your head chopped off.
But what I want to say is, don't let it become isolated. Don't let yourselves become cut off, you know.
We're not gonna Brexit! Oh, we're gonna Brexit! We're not gonna Brexit anymore!
to get your message across to people. This is going out to a lot of people. Why would you not want to talk?
I don't want to. Not to you.
Why is that?
Goodbye.
Yes. Very strange people.
I brought my message to the studio today, as you can see, written across my body. Brexit leaves Britain naked.
Yes, and you are now naked as we speak.
I'm here today really to say that I would like to stay in Europe, and I'm dressed as King Canute.
Well, the British Prime Minister, Theresa May, has meetings with European officials today to try and open up the deal and to try and find some sort of compromise. We're just as unicorns because we think that compromise doesn't exist.
Well, nothing we've tried so far has worked, so I'm now going to try and stop Brexit through the medium of expressive dance.
So it carries three important messages, and the first is that Brexit leaves Britain's economy exposed. The second is that Brexit has served to reveal some anti-immigration sentiments of a kind that we should be very much worried about in our society. And finally, Brexit exposes past government failures that have left many people feeling they have nothing to lose from Brexit because they have nothing at all.
And those are all arguments that have been put many, many times by very many people wearing their clothes.
The whole thing is just beyond belief, and I think she's also really started to make Britain a laughing stock.
You're a Remainer, aren't you?
Yeah, I vote Remain.
Would it not be true to say that almost everybody who wants a second referendum is a Remainer?
No. I mean,
I think that is true, isn't it?
Well,
because British workers will do the jobs. We just agreed to wreck our economic future in order to limit immigration, which is, you know, fine. Apparently, the 52% of the country who voted.
So you think 52% of the population is stupid enough to vote for economic self-harm?
Yes,
is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
So you think that little of the British people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, the majority of people in the North East didn't want to remain, but neither do they want a no-deal Brexit. So what's
your position on this issue? You seem very confused.
No, sorry, at the time of the referendum, nobody ever talked about no deal.
Yes, they did.
No.
David Cameron did. He said if we don't leave with a deal, we leave under WTO terms. I can play you the video.
Sorry, you're right. You're right.
Well, you said it. 1 million Indians died fighting for us.
That's right.
They fought for the European project, and they're not now going to vote on the basis of whether Granny can come over for a wedding.
Did you say that they fought for the European project?
They fought for the European project
to get rid of a European dictator who was murdering and killing people. They didn't fight for the European Union. They didn't fight for the European Economic Community.
This is a dangerous fantasy. The idea that there's going to be a European Air Force, a European army, it is simply not true.
The European Union should have its own army to convey a clear message to Russia.
I don't think we have even begun to wake up to what Russia is doing when it comes to cyber warfare. Not only their interference, now proven in the American presidential campaign, probably in our own referendum last year. We don't have the evidence for that yet, but I think it's highly probable.
That your leader is going to say later on today that there'll be rat hairs in the paprika and maggots in the orange juice if we do a trade deal with the US when we leave.
I think
really.
If you're a Brexiter, I hope you won't vote for the Labour Party, because the Labour Party is moving increasingly against Brexit.
What we need is a Brexit that will deliver. We need a choice of whether we're going to have a Brexit.
So you want a second referendum?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily. What is your position?
As we've got.
Rat hairs in the paprika, maggots in the orange juice.
It's about the standards that we operate.
We would support Remain against no deal.
So you are a Remain party now. Can you say that? I, Barry Gardner, in the Labour Party, am now a Remain politician.
Sorry. You know, you like to trap people in forms of words.
Just to quote Mary Cray, the Labour MP, she says, if Labour stands in the middle of the road on Brexit, we'll get run over from both directions.
That's true. The backstop is an insurance policy. Could the Prime Minister give an example of any insurance policy she's ever seen or signed up to that is based on an expiry date?
Can I say to the honourable gentleman, I don't know what insurance policy he takes out, but most insurance policies actually do have a renewable date in.
So I wouldn't vote Labour if you want to stop Brexit. If you want to stop Brexit, though, so if you want Brexit, if you want to stop Brexit, though, I think you should vote Labour.
Former Labour MP Gisela Stewart.
Well, I'm just slightly puzzled, Andrew. You are still a Labour member of the House of Lords, aren't you?
I certainly am.
And you take the Labour whip, but you're telling people not to vote Labour.
No. Is that hyperbole from your leader?
It's
rat hairs in the paprika and maggots in the orange juice.
It's illustrating a point about standard slowing.
Have you ever been to the United States on holiday?
I've been to the United States many,
Have you ever
many
had maggots in your orange juice?
I have been to the United States. I have
you?
holidayed there. I have worked there. I've travelled through there many, many times.
And have you been worried about rat hairs in your
There
paprika?
are real worries about food standards
and maggots
in
in your orange juice.
But let me just,
If you remember back to the referendum, when Nigel Farage was saying, look at Norway, look at Switzerland...
Stop mentioning Nigel Farage and Hannah. They are not members of the government. They're not MPs. You are trying to go against what we voted for. Don't waffle, Barry. Come out and say it. You want us to remain, and you want to stab the people in South Wales in the back.
Absolutely
like you've done
not.
to Scotland, like you've done to the north.
What we need is a clear Brexit option. There has not yet been one before Parliament. So when that Brexit option, so we don't know, will we be in a customs union or not? Will we be in...
I'm just asking if you want Brexit to happen. You seem very confused.
We need to know what the Brexit will be. The phrase Brexit could cover anything from a no deal to...
But are you pro or anti-Brexit?
I think you're trying to simplify a question that is not simple.
The majority, there was a referendum. We voted for Brexit. The law says we're going to leave.
Well, you tell me how many of those who voted to leave the European Union voted for a no-deal Brexit?
That wasn't the question. The question on the referendum was whether they wanted to leave the EU.
Why are you wearing the badge bollocks to Brexit today?
Because I think Brexit is the worst disaster in policy terms this country has faced since appeasement of the 1930s.
The fears that people have had about immigration are indeed what lay behind, I dare say, why many people voted for Brexit. And one of the reasons they did that was that for years and years and years, when they expressed a fear about the pressure on jobs or schools or social services or the health service, someone like you would come along and say that these people were racist.
No, I didn't.
And that they were anti-Muslim and that they were trying to drive black people out and that they were making a racist case. And people have heard you again this evening and they'll think, oh my goodness, well look, I have some concerns about immigration and here's this fellow trying to tell me that anybody who has that view is part of some kind of right-wing conspiracy. Not only have you learnt nothing, you are now trying to smear lots of decent people.
Brexit is exacerbating underlying problems in our society. It is a racist, xenophobic, right-wing, reactionary project, and we on the Labour Party should be fighting against it with every sinew of our being.
Now, some people want to leave in the most right-wing way possible.
It's not right-wing.
Well, it's just leaving.
I'm right-wing, Barry. Are you telling me I'm right-wing?
No.
I voted Labour all my life, and I'm a right-wing person. This is why we in South Wales are going to give you a massive wake-up call on December the 12th.
We got the right to choose it. There ain't no way to lose it. This is our life. This is our song.
Who are your favourite people in the EU, Holly? Angela Merkel, or who are your favourite EU people?
My EU people? I haven't really got any favourite EU people. It's just mainly the side where we live in the UK politics. That's people who are just doing it.